You are not undisciplined because you lack ability. Let me say that again. You are not undisciplined because you cannot do it. You are undisciplined because you negotiate. You negotiate with your own weakness. And what is most striking is that you do this every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, without even noticing it. How many promises have you already broken to yourself? How many times have you looked in the mirror and said, "Tomorrow I'll start. Monday will be different. This time I will follow through"? Have you experienced this? Of course you have. We all have. But here is the reality no one emphasizes. Every time you delay, every time you bargain with that inner voice that tells you to leave it for later, you are conditioning your mind to be weak. Yes, you are building a mental habit of quitting. And the worst part is that it turns into a cycle, a repeating pattern that keeps you in the same position, constantly promising change but rarely acting on it. Now picture a samurai. Think about Miyamoto Musashi, one of the most respected swordsmen in Japanese history, preparing for a life-or-death duel. Do you think he bargained with his weaker thoughts? Do you think he said, "Maybe tomorrow I'll train harder"? No. He removed doubt through immediate action. That is what separates ordinary individuals from exceptional ones. Stay with me until the end, because what you are about to understand can completely shift how you approach action. Discipline is not about willpower alone. It is about something deeper and far more powerful. And it is available to anyone who chooses to stop negotiating with themselves. So let me ask you, how many times have you told yourself you would change? That you would wake up earlier, exercise consistently, study seriously, or finally build that goal you keep talking about? Project and simply did not do it? That is a painful question, I know. But it is necessary. Because until you confront this pattern directly, it will continue to control you. Let me invite you to do something. Before moving on, comment below. What was the last promise you made to yourself and did not keep? It may be uncomfortable to admit, but every time you comment like this, you help spread the principles of Japanese philosophy to more people. You are not just answering a question. You are joining a focused community committed to real transformation. This is a space for people tired of excuses, tired of empty motivation, and serious about results. And if you believe these teachings can truly change lives, leave a like on this video so more people can discover this message. Your engagement is what allows this channel to grow and reach others with meaningful content. Every like, every comment, every share spreads a philosophy that can change someone's direction. And before we continue, make sure you are part of this path. Subscribe to the channel, because the upcoming videos are part of a complete series designed to help you build unshakable discipline and a strong warrior mindset for success in life. So ask yourself honestly, will you subscribe or will you continue postponing action? The decision, as always, is yours. Now let us focus on what matters. Who was Miyamoto Musashi? Miyamoto Musashi was not an ordinary man. He was an undefeated samurai in more than 60 life-or-death duels. 60. Think about that carefully. While most people negotiate with their alarm clock each morning, he faced death repeatedly and survived every encounter. He lived under extreme physical and mental discipline. He slept in caves, trained until exhaustion, and meditated in conditions that would cause most modern individuals to quit immediately. And what is most impressive? He did not do it for recognition or fame. He did it because it reflected who he was. Musashi wrote the Book of 5 Rings, a work that has influenced generations and continues to impact lives today. But before his death, he created something even more direct. Dakodo, a personal code of 21 principles summarizing his philosophy. Here is the truth most people overlook. Musashi's discipline was not about motivation. It was not about feeling inspired. It was about identity. He did not convince himself to train. He trained because he was a warrior. It was not a daily debate. It was his nature. He once said, "Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world." This meant he did not waste energy on internal drama or endless mental negotiation. He acted. This is where most people fail. They try to build discipline while keeping the same weak identity. That approach does not work. You cannot remain the same person and expect different outcomes. First principle, cut the illusion. Discipline does not begin with detailed planning or attractive goals written in a notebook. It begins with removing self-deception. You deceive yourself more often than you realize. We all do. How many times have you said, "I'm tired," when you were actually bored? How often have you waited to feel motivated before starting something important, as if motivation were required before action? How many times have you created convincing excuses for procrastination? That is illusion, and Musashi understood this clearly. He advised having no preferences. He did not wait for perfect conditions, the ideal moment, or the right mood. He acted. A disciplined person does not argue with weakness. He executes. The real cause of procrastination is not laziness. It is internal negotiation. You bargain with the voice that says, "Just 5 more minutes," or "I'll do it tomorrow." And each time you negotiate, you lose not to someone else but to a weaker version of yourself. When you remove illusion and stop deceiving yourself, something powerful happens. You regain control, not surface-level emotion, but control over your internal narrative. You stop being controlled by excuses and become responsible for your choices. Here is a practical challenge. Eliminate one permanent distraction today. Not tomorrow, today. Could be your phone during the first hour of the morning. Could be a social media platform draining your attention. Could be a habit you know undermines your progress. Choose one and remove it. No negotiation. Second principle, daily training without emotion. Musashi trained every day, rain or sun, hungry or exhausted, calm or frustrated. It did not matter. He trained because he understood a truth most people ignore. Emotion is unstable. One day you feel inspired. The next day you feel defeated. If you rely on emotion to act, you will never build something lasting. Emotion changes quickly. Commitment remains. He taught accepting reality exactly as it is. This does not mean passivity. It means not waiting for perfect conditions. He accepted circumstances and acted anyway. You do not need motivation. You need decision. Motivation is a feeling. Decision is commitment. Motivation fades at the first obstacle. Decision remains, even when everything inside you wants to stop. Real transformation begins when you stop waiting for desire and start building structure. Set a fixed time for what matters. Not flexible, fixed. Every day at the same time you execute. Morning or night, it does not matter. What matters is that it is non-negotiable. Act especially when you do not feel like it. That is when character is formed. Anyone can act when inspired. Only disciplined individuals act when conditions are unfavorable. Internal negotiation is the beginning of defeat. The moment you allow "not today," you open a door that becomes easier to use tomorrow and the day after until it becomes habit. When you train without relying on emotion, when you act through system rather than feeling, you build stability. You become predictable to yourself. And that reliability is power. Third principle, solitude and total responsibility. Musashi spent long periods in isolation. Not because he disliked people, but because he understood that discipline requires silence. You cannot build something meaningful in constant noise. You cannot develop clarity in chaos. You cannot discover strength while depending on external approval. Solitude is not punishment. It is training. When you sit alone with your thoughts, without distraction or constant input, you confront who you truly are. That can be uncomfortable, because many people spend their lives avoiding themselves. He advised not following the path of others. That means you cannot outsource your decisions. You cannot blame circumstances, the economy, family, or the system. Growth requires discomfort, and part of that discomfort is accepting full responsibility. No exceptions. Blaming others is easy, protects you from change. But the disciplined individual looks inward and asks, "What can I control?" Then acts on it. Here is a practical step. Reserve 30 minutes each day without your phone. No screens, no notifications, just silence. At first, it will feel difficult. Your mind will seek distraction. That is precisely where growth occurs. Use that time for strategic thinking. Reflect on your decisions, patterns, and next actions. Take control of your direction instead of letting external noise define it. Self-discipline requires becoming comfortable with yourself. It requires building an internal compass strong enough that nothing external can easily redirect you. That only develops through intentional solitude. Finally, understand this. Knowledge without action is entertainment. You can understand every principle discussed here and still change nothing. Musashi was not a passive thinker. He was a consistent executor. So here is the real challenge. 7 days. A practical ritual that turns theory into real action. It is not complex. It is not impossible. But it will reveal whether you truly want to change or if you only enjoy the idea of change. Day 1. Remove one distraction. Identify the habit that harms your progress the most and eliminate it completely. It might be social media. It might be binge watching. It might be a routine you know drains your energy. No bargaining. Day 2. Wake up at the time you set. No snooze button. No, just 5 more minutes. When the alarm rings, you stand up. That is it. Miyamoto Musashi said, "Do everything without ever tiring of doing it." That principle starts with your first action of the day. Day 3. Complete the hardest task first. The one you keep avoiding. The one that makes you uncomfortable. The one you know is necessary but continue to delay. Finish it before coffee, before checking messages, before anything else. Day 4. Mandatory physical training. It does not matter if it is running, lifting weights, practicing martial arts, or doing push-ups. The body must be trained alongside the mind. Warriors do not ignore physical strength. Day 5. 1 hour of absolute focus. 60 uninterrupted minutes. No phone. No notifications. No distractions. Work on something that truly matters. 1 hour may seem small, but most people struggle to focus deeply for even 15 minutes. Day 6. Weekly strategic review. Look back with complete honesty. What worked? What failed? Where did you give in to weakness? Where did you act with discipline? Write it down. Record it. Day 7. Silence and planning. No social media. No passive entertainment. Just you, your thoughts, and your strategy for the coming week. This is the moment to reset your internal direction. The impact of these 7 days goes far beyond what you expect. It is not about the days themselves. It is about breaking the pattern of negotiating with yourself. It is about proving that you can do what you promise. Comment below, "I start today." The death of your weak self. This is where everything becomes clear. You already know what needs to be done. You always have. The issue was never information. You have read articles, watched videos, listened to advice, and had powerful realizations at 3 o'clock in the morning, promising yourself you would change. The problem was not knowledge. It was decision. Here is a hard truth. Until you eliminate your weak self, it will continue to sabotage everything you attempt to build. Every broken promise, every accepted excuse, every internal compromise feeds that lesser version of you. And it keeps winning not because it is stronger but because you allow it to remain. Musashi spent his life facing deadly opponents. But his real enemy was never the person holding a sword. It was internal doubt. It was the voice saying, "You can't. It's too difficult. Maybe tomorrow." The only way to defeat that enemy is to remove any room for negotiation. Musashi said, "Never stray from the way. The way is not comfortable. It is not easy. But it is the only path that leads to true transformation. Discipline is not created when you feel prepared. It is created when you stop accepting weakness. When you look in the mirror and decide that the version of you who delays, makes empty promises, and hides behind excuses no longer exists. That is the necessary ending, the end of your weak self. And here is the most important choice you will make. Either you build discipline or you continue building regret. There is no middle ground. Every day without action adds to future regret. Every broken promise becomes another brick in the wall separating you from the life you want. This decision will echo for years. It is not only about today. It is about who you will become 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It is about looking back and seeing steady execution instead of a list of abandoned intentions. Comment below, my weak self died today. If you are still here, that already says something about you. Many people leave within the first few minutes. You did not. You stayed, reflected, and that matters. If this message connected with you, subscribe to the channel. What we build here is not empty content. It is practical transformation based on principles that have endured for centuries and still apply today. And if you truly reach the end, comment below, Samurai Discipline Activated. I want to see who is genuinely committed to this path. Each comment not only shows engagement, but also helps others discover these principles. If this video added real value to your life, consider supporting the channel. There is a link in the description where you can contribute. It helps ensure that more content like this continues to reach you. There is also a complete resource on Japanese discipline in the first pinned comment, an ebook that explores these principles in greater depth. Take a look. It is worth your attention. And on the side, you will find a video that perfectly complements this topic. Click it and continue this journey with me.